Hi everyone. Today I am going to tell you a short story from Mahabharata, and this is my 7th episode of Mahabharata series. So let me begin my story. And the name of the story is Amba and Bhisma. So let me begin. Rishi Vaishampayan narrated the story as King Janmejan asked him about his ancestors. He began his narration. Actually, after Satyavati came to Hastinapur and became the queen, King Santanu and Satyavati, they were blessed with two beautiful sons. The elder one was known as Chitrangada, and the younger one was Vichitravirja. They both were very powerful, righteous and truthful, like their father Santanu. And in due course of time, when Santanu went to heaven, Chitrangada, being the elder one, installed as the king of Hastinapur. He was very good to his subjects, and his subjects also loved him a lot. But one thing, he was always engaged with warfare. And one day, when he was engaged with Gandharvas in a war, he was killed and died there. So Satyavati was worried and she requested Bhisma to be the king, but Bhisma told her, कि oh mother, as I had taken the vow, I can never be the king of Hastinapur. I would govern the kingdom, but Vichitravirja would be the king, and in due course of time. And he did that. Few years later, Vichitravirja came to his age and he became the king of Hastinapur. When he came to his marriageable age, at that time, Bhisma thought of giving his marriage. Satyavati told him that the king of Kashi, he had called a Swayamvar for his 3 daughters, and they were beautiful, and their name, fame, everything was very well known. So Bhisma decided to go there to choose the princess or the princesses for Vichitravirja. So he went there. When he came to the Swayamvar Sabha, there the other princes, other kings and the warriors also were invited. And when they saw Bhisma, they laughed at him. They were surprised that why this old man has come to the Swayamvar. Even some of them passed some remarks that, look, this old man probably has forgotten his vow of celibacy. And how did he think about the marriage? They laughed at him and humiliated. Even when the princesses Amba, Ambika and Ambalika, they came to see their suitors, they were surprised to see Bhisma, because everybody knew the mighty arm Bhisma very well, and they thought that he had come just for the eyewitness of the Swayamvar. But when they found him as a suitor, they were also surprised. But they didn't look at him, just looked away. Seeing all this behavior, attitude of other princes, and these three princesses, he got angry and immediately he challenged that if any one of you can save these girls, then save them. I am going to take all these three girls on my chariot. So he forcibly took all the three princesses and started his journey. The other princes already know that Bhisma was very powerful and unbeatable too. So they didn't dare to come and fight with Bhisma. After a while, Salwa ran after him and shouted, "Just wait, wait." Bhisma stood there, kept his chariot standstill, and Salwa said that I had chosen Amba as my wife, but forcibly you are taking, so fight with me. Then there was a combat between Bhisma and Salwa, King Salwa. He was king of Sauvala. So they both fought, and ultimately Salwa was defeated by Bhisma. Then Bhisma took all these three princesses and went to Hastinapur. After reaching in Hastinapur, he made the arrangements for the marriage. At that time, Amba said very politely, "O son of Ganga, you are a learned man and you are well aware of the written scriptures. You know that I had already chosen Salwa as my husband in my mind, and Salwa also did the same. But forcibly you have brought me here, so do whatever you think right to do." The Bhisma felt very sorry for Amba, and with proper escort, he sent her to King Salwa. And the other two, Ambika and Ambalika, got married to Vichitravirja. Even Bhisma told him to marry, but he said no, she had already in love with somebody else, so I am not going to marry her. At last, Amba was sent, and when she reached at Salwa and requested him to marry her, Salwa refused immediately. He said that Bhisma had defeated me in front of so many kings and princesses, so I am not going to marry you anymore. I can't accept you as my wife. Now you go back to Bhisma and do whatever he commands. This humiliated to Amba also. She felt bad. She requested again and again Salwa to accept her, but he refused. Then Amba came back to Bhisma once again and told him what had happened with Salwa. Then Bhisma said, "Well, I will ask Vichitravirja to marry you." Again he asked Vichitravirja, requested him, but Vichitravirja said that I can't marry her because she had already given her heart to Salwa. So at last Amba requested Bhisma to marry her. Then Bhisma said, "O divine lady, I can never marry you, as you know that I have taken a vow that I will never marry till I am alive." And she was frustrated, annoyed, and she left Hastinapur after few months. She went to the jungle, but in her heart, she was just thinking about to take the revenge upon Bhisma, because she felt that Bhisma had ruined her life. She went to the forest and deeply involved in hard austerities. She prayed to God Subramanya. At last, Subramanya was pleased and graciously appeared before Amba. And he said that as a boon, he gave her a ever fresh lotus garland. He said that anyone who would put this garland will be the enemy of Bhisma. Then Amba was very happy and took the garland and came and approached all the princes and requested them to accept the garland. But everybody knew about Bhisma, so they didn't dare to challenge Bhisma once more. They said that they can't accept it. At last, she went again back to the jungle. At that time, she met some sages. The sages heard her story and they felt pity for her. They just told her to go to Lord Parsuram and take his advice. Then Amba went to Lord Parsuram and told her a story what had happened within those few years. And Parsuram actually moved with her pitiful life and all these past incidents. And he said that, Amba, I would request Sallo to accept you. Go back to Sallo and ask him again. But Amba said that, I am not going back to Sallo again. I am not crazed after marriage or life or any happiness. I just want one thing, and that is revenge, and revenge only upon Bhisma. Then Parsuram, just to satisfy her, he fought with Bhisma, but once again he was also defeated by Bhisma. Now Parsuram came, after being defeated by Bhisma, he came to Amba and told her that she had only one choice, that she should go to Bhisma and do whatever he commands. Then, being annoyed and frustrated and disgusted, Amba went back to jungle once again. Yes, before going to jungle, she also had approached to King Drupada. But Drupada was also very much scared of Bhisma. When he refused, she put the ever-fresh lotus garland on his palace gate and went away. Then, when every side she was frustrated, she went back to jungle again, to Himalayan jungle, and prayed over there to Lord Shiva. With her deep and hard austerities, Lord Shiva appeared before her. Then, when she asked for boon, Lord Shiva and said everything about the revenge, Lord Shiva said, oh dear, you can only take the revenge in your next life. You can slay Bhisma, but in your next birth. And then Shiva disappeared. Amba was impatient to take revenge. She couldn't wait, so she lit the fire and plunged into it so that quickly she could take the rebirth. And ultimately, she was born to King Drupada as his daughter, Sikhandini. When Sikhandini in due course of time grew up, suddenly once she noticed that lotus garland on the palace gate. She took it out and put on her neck. Looking at this horrible thing, King Drupad immediately sent her to exiled her. He sent her to forest. and Amba was Amba became hopeless. Then she started her deep meditation once again, and by that she could able to transform her gender, and she became Sikhand, and she came back to King Drupad once again. This is the, and ultimately in Mahabharata war, Arjun kept Sikhandi as the charioteer, so that when Bhisma saw that she stood in front of Arjun, he just threw away his weapons, because he promised that he would never ever fight with any woman. That, and he knew that Sikhandi was no other than Amba. That is why he threw his weapons, and Arjun got the chance to kill Bhisma. This is all about Amba and Bhisma. The next story is about Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vidura. So thank you so much for now, and I will meet you once again with the next episode. Thank you.